Most people don't fall behind because they're stupid or unlucky. They fall behind because they live on autopilot. Same routines, same excuses, same comfort, year after year. And then one day they look around and wonder how others moved so far ahead. This video is not about motivation, positivity, or fake hustle. It's about logic, systems, and real-world advantage. If you think staying ahead means working harder than everyone else, you've already lost. Hard work without direction just makes you tired, not dangerous. In this video, we're going to break down how people actually stay ahead, mentally, strategically, and practically, while others stay stuck repeating the same patterns. No superstition, no overnight success myths, just reality. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why most people never move forward. You'll know exactly how to position yourself so progress becomes inevitable. If you're tired of blending in, reacting to life, and wasting potential, stay with me. This one is for people who think long-term and play to win. The real meaning of staying ahead. Staying ahead of people doesn't mean flexing harder, talking louder, or trying to prove that you're smarter than everyone else. That mindset is outdated and honestly insecure. Staying ahead is about long-term advantage, not short-term validation. Most people are busy competing for attention, approval, and comfort. The few who stay ahead are busy competing with time, skills, and their past self. That's the first mental shift you need to lock in. The uncomfortable truth is this: the majority of people live on autopilot. They wake up, scroll, react, complain, repeat. No system, no direction, no deliberate improvement. If you're even slightly intentional with how you use your time and energy, you're already ahead of a huge percentage of people. You don't need to be extraordinary, just conscious. Another hard pill people avoid swallowing is that staying ahead requires being okay with being misunderstood. When you don't follow the crowd gets uncomfortable. People will call you overthinking, too serious, or obsessed. But those labels usually come from people who are afraid of discipline and consistency. Growth is lonely at the beginning. That loneliness isn't a sign you're wrong, it's a sign you're early. Most people chase motivation. That's a rookie move. Motivation is emotional and unstable. The people who stay ahead build systems, not moods. They don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this today?" They ask, "What's the process I follow regardless of mood?" Once you stop relying on feelings and start relying on structure, your progress becomes predictable, and that's dangerous in the best way. So understand this clearly. Staying ahead is not about doing more things than others. It's about doing the right few things repeatedly, while others keep switching goals, shortcuts, and excuses. If you get this foundation right, everything else becomes easier to stack on top. Master what most people avoid. If you want to stay ahead, stop chasing what's popular and start mastering what's uncomfortable. Most people avoid hard skills, deep thinking, and delayed rewards. They want fast results, viral success, and shortcuts. That's exactly why they stay average. The real advantage lives in the areas people keep procrastinating on: focus, consistency, and skill building. Look around carefully. Everyone says they want success, but very few are willing to sit alone, practice daily, and look stupid while learning. People quit the moment progress becomes invisible. Staying ahead means you're okay working for weeks or months with no applause, no validation, and no visible outcome. Science-backed reality. Compound growth doesn't feel exciting in the beginning, but it absolutely humiliates luck in the long run. Another brutal truth: most people don't think, they just consume opinions. They follow trends, gurus, reels, and motivational quotes without questioning logic or evidence. If you train yourself to think critically, verify information, and build first-principle thinking, you automatically move ahead. Rational thinking is rare. Emotional decision-making is common. Guess which one wins long-term? Staying ahead also requires saying no, constantly. No to useless debates. No to energy-draining people. No to fake productivity. Every yes costs attention, and attention is a limited resource. People fall behind not because they lack talent, but because their focus is scattered everywhere. Depth beats speed. Clarity beats noise. So remember this. Advantage isn't about intelligence or luck. It's about choosing discomfort today so you don't have to live with regret tomorrow. While others are busy escaping effort, you're building leverage, and that's how the gap quietly grows. Build leverage, not just effort. Here's where most people completely mess up. They confuse hard work with progress. Grinding endlessly without direction is just burnout in disguise. Staying ahead isn't about doing more, it's about doing things that multiply your output. This is where leverage comes in. Leverage can be skills, knowledge, systems, or even reputation. People who stay ahead don't trade time for results forever. They build assets that keep working even when they stop. Think about it logically. If you're learning a skill that only works in one narrow situation, your growth hits a ceiling fast. But if you learn transferable skills, communication, analytical thinking, problem solving, learning how to learn, you unlock multiple paths at once. Most people don't want this because it takes time to see results. They want immediate payoff. You want long-term dominance. Another massive separator is how people deal with information. Average people consume content for entertainment. Smart people consume content for clarity. Ahead of the curve people convert information into action. They take notes, test ideas, apply concepts, and refine them. Information without execution is just intellectual junk food. If you don't apply what you learn, you're not growing, you're just pretending to be busy. Also, stop romanticizing hustle culture. Working 14 hours with zero structure doesn't make you ahead, it makes you inefficient. People who win play clean games. They track progress, review mistakes, and adjust strategies. They don't repeat the same year 10 times and call it experience. Reflection is a force multiplier, and most people skip it because it's uncomfortable to face their own inefficiency. So understand this clearly. Effort gets you started, but leverage keeps you ahead. Once you start thinking in systems instead of stress, your growth stops depending on motivation and starts depending on logic. And logic, unlike emotions, doesn't lie. Control your environment before it controls you. Most people think discipline is about willpower. That's false. Willpower is weak, inconsistent, and unreliable. The people who stay ahead don't rely on willpower, they engineer their environment. Your surroundings silently shape your behavior more than your intentions ever will. If your phone, friends, and routines are optimized for distraction, no amount of motivation will save you. Look at this rationally. If junk food is always in front of you, you'll eat it. If notifications are always buzzing, you'll get distracted. If lazy people surround you, laziness becomes normal. This isn't philosophy, this is behavioral science. High performers reduce friction for good habits and increase friction for bad ones. They don't fight temptation, they make temptation inconvenient. Another big advantage comes from controlling inputs. Most people let random content decide their mood and thinking. News, reels, gossip, outrage, mental pollution all day. People who stay ahead are extremely selective about what they consume. They protect their attention like it's capital, because it is. Garbage input equals garbage thinking. Clean input leads to clarity and better decisions. Your environment also includes people. This part is brutal but necessary. Not everyone deserves access to your time and energy. Some people only show up to vent, complain, and stay stuck. If you keep absorbing that mindset, you slow down unconsciously. Staying ahead sometimes means emotionally outgrowing people, and being okay with that. Growth doesn't ask for permission. So get this straight. Discipline starts outside your brain. Fix your space, your inputs, and your associations, and discipline becomes automatic. When your environment supports your goals, staying ahead stops feeling hard and starts feeling natural. Think in decades while others think in days. This is where the real separation happens. Most people make decisions based on how they feel today. What's comfortable now? What's exciting now? What's trending now? People who stay ahead zoom out. They think in years and decades, not moods and moments. Long-term thinking is rare, and rarity creates advantage. If you keep asking, will this make me feel good right now? You'll stay stuck in short-term loops. Instead, ask, what will this do to me in 5 years? That single question filters out 90% of bad decisions automatically. Discipline, learning, health, and skill building feel boring in the moment, but their long-term payoff is insane. Meanwhile, shortcuts feel amazing now and expensive later. Another logical truth. People overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in 3 years. That's why they quit early. Staying ahead requires patience mixed with aggression, patient with results, aggressive with daily execution. You don't need dramatic moves, you need boringly consistent ones. Also, stop comparing timelines. Comparison is statistically flawed. Everyone starts with different resources, genetics, environments, and responsibilities. The only valid comparison is whether you're positioning your future self better than your past self. If the answer is yes, you're ahead, regardless of where others are. So lock this in. Staying ahead is a math problem, not an emotional one. Small smart decisions repeated over time beat intense effort applied inconsistently. Play the long game while others chase quick dopamine, and the gap will become impossible to ignore. Become mentally unshakable. If you want to stay ahead, your biggest upgrade isn't external, it's psychological. Most people collapse under criticism, comparison, or temporary failure. Their emotions dictate their actions. The ones who stay ahead build emotional resilience. They don't break every time life applies pressure, they adapt. Here's the rational reality: criticism is data, not a personal attack. But insecure minds treat feedback like an insult. Ahead of the curve, people extract signal from noise. They ask, is there something useful here? If yes, they improve. If not, they discard it. Emotional neutrality is power. Getting offended easily is a competitive disadvantage. Failure works the same way. Average people see failure as proof they're not good enough. Smart people see it as feedback. High performers expect failure. It's built into the process. If you're never failing, you're not experimenting enough. Staying ahead means you don't tie your identity to outcomes, you tie it to learning speed. Mental strength also means being okay with silence. No constant validation, no need to announce every move. Most people talk more than they execute. The people ahead move quietly, let results speak, and avoid unnecessary noise. Silence isn't weakness, it's focus. So understand this. The world doesn't reward emotional fragility, no matter how much it pretends to. It rewards clarity, adaptability, and composure under pressure. Build a mind that doesn't panic, doesn't chase approval, and doesn't quit when things get hard, and you'll stay ahead even when conditions get unfair. Ruthlessly audit your time and energy. Time is the only resource everyone gets equally, and yet most people waste it like it's infinite. If you want to stay ahead, you need to treat time and energy like non-renewable assets. People don't fall behind because they lack time, they fall behind because they leak it everywhere. Start with this brutal fact: not everything deserves your attention. Endless scrolling, pointless conversations, unnecessary arguments, and fake urgency slowly drain your cognitive capacity. These things don't feel dangerous in the moment, but over months and years, they quietly destroy momentum. People who stay ahead don't just work hard, they eliminate aggressively. Another thing most people ignore is energy management. You can have all the time in the world, but if your energy is trash, your output will be trash. Sleep, nutrition, and movement aren't self-care trends, they're performance fundamentals. A tired brain makes bad decisions, loses focus faster, and quits earlier. That's biology, not motivation talk. High performers regularly audit their routines. They ask, what's moving me forward? What's neutral? What's holding me back? Then they cut without guilt. Average people keep everything in their life because letting go feels uncomfortable. Staying ahead means being okay with discomfort in exchange for clarity. So remember this. Productivity isn't about cramming more into your day. It's about removing what doesn't matter so what does matter gets your best energy. When your time and energy align with your priorities, progress becomes inevitable. Stay a student while others get complacent. This is the final edge, and the most underrated one. People fall behind the moment they start thinking, I know enough. The world doesn't reward past knowledge, it rewards current relevance. Staying ahead means you remain a student, even when you're already doing well. Most people stop learning once they get some comfort or confidence. They rely on outdated beliefs, old methods, and rigid thinking. Ahead of the curve people update themselves constantly. New tools, new ideas, new perspectives, they adapt fast. Not because they're insecure, but because they understand one thing. Reality doesn't care about ego. Also, learning isn't about collecting certificates or flexing vocabulary. It's about upgrading how you think. The best learners ask better questions, challenge their own assumptions, and are willing to be wrong. Being wrong isn't embarrassing, refusing to update is. Intellectual humility is a superpower. Another key difference. People who stay ahead don't wait for permission or perfect conditions to learn. They experiment in real life. They test, fail, adjust, repeat. Learning through action compounds faster than passive consumption ever will. Comfort zones feel safe, but they're intellectually deadly. So lock this in as a principle. The moment you stop learning, you start declining, whether you notice it or not. Stay curious. Stay adaptable. Stay grounded in reality, not beliefs or ego. Do that, and you won't just stay ahead of people, you'll stay ahead of time. Let results be your loudest statement. Here's the final mindset shift that seals everything. People who stay ahead don't waste energy trying to look ahead. They don't argue, explain, or seek approval. They let results do the talking. While others are busy posting intentions, opinions, and fake productivity, you're stacking proof quietly. Understand this clearly. Arguing rarely changes outcomes, execution does. Most people want to win debates, not build skills. They want to be right, not effective. Staying ahead means choosing progress over ego every single time. You don't need to announce your plans, plans don't impress reality. Consistent action does. Another uncomfortable truth is that success naturally creates distance. Not everyone will clap for you. Some will doubt you, some will downplay you, and some will suddenly become experts once you're ahead. None of that matters. External noise has zero impact on internal trajectory unless you let it. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it's strategic focus. The real flex isn't speed, money, or status. The real flex is control, control over your time, mind, habits, and direction. When you reach that point, you're no longer reacting to life, you're designing it. And people who design their life will always stay ahead of people who merely respond to it. So remember this. Stay quiet, stay consistent, stay rational. Don't chase attention, build competence. Don't chase approval, build leverage. Do this long enough, and staying ahead won't even feel like competition anymore. It'll feel inevitable. Make growth non-negotiable. This is where everything locks in. Staying ahead isn't a phase, a hustle season, or a motivational high, it's a standard. Most people treat growth like an option. I'll improve when things calm down. That day never comes. People who stay ahead make growth non-negotiable, like breathing. No drama, no excuses, just standards. Here's the rational truth. Life doesn't get easier, you get better. Problems scale with you. If you don't upgrade your skills, thinking, and habits, the same problems will crush you later at a bigger level. Ahead of the curve people don't wait for motivation, they rely on identity. This is who I am. I show up. I improve. Identity-driven action beats discipline every time. Another key move is feedback loops. You don't just act, you review. What worked? What didn't? What's the bottleneck? Then you adjust. Most people repeat the same mistakes because they never pause to analyze. Progress without reflection is just motion. Reflection turns motion into momentum. Finally, accept this. Staying ahead means you'll never fully arrive. And that's not depressing, it's freeing. There's no finish line where you relax forever. There's only levels. You build, stabilize, then build again. People who need a final destination quit early. People who enjoy the process stay ahead naturally. So set your standards high and keep them boringly consistent. No superstition, no shortcuts, no fantasies, just reality, systems, and execution. Do that long enough, and staying ahead won't be something you try to do, it'll be who you are.